Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Biz Hub. It's Friday, it's 9:30 as usual. We're here. Hello, how are you? How's your week been? It's the end of another busy week, the penultimate one. Whoa, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you here. It's really nice to be a part of this and to see you all. If you can see me, stick a hello in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Lovely to see you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Dane. Good morning, everybody. Are you getting in the Christmassy spirit yet? Maybe you've had a bit of the Christmas spirit. Nobody's judging anybody here. It's a safe space. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Joanna. Morning, Matt. From Vision website design, I believe. Hello, Matt. Hello, Sheila, Sue. Lovely to have you here. Oh, Angie had an online Christmas party. That's wonderful. Well, come on in, pull up a Christmassy chair, grab yourself a virtual mince pie and a glass of Bucks Fizz, or a if you're an international traveller, you might have a warm glass of Glühwein, or a strong coffee, or as I've got, a lovely cup of tea. Gorgeous. Right, without any further ado, let's crack on. The stragglers can catch up. It's lovely to be here, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome to the SiGNAL BiZHUB, where we come to learn, be inspired and grow our business. Everything I talk about today is available or will be shortly available on the signalbizhub.org website or signalborden.org. If you want to go to the main website, that's great. All available there. And as always, the common sense disclaimer: anything you hear today is general in nature, is not specific advice for your business. If you have a specific question, problem, or need something, get in touch with us at SiGNAL, and we will either put you in touch with a professional who can answer your question or give you some specific advice that you can take away and implement in your business. So thank you very much for coming today. It's the penultimate one. We're going to have some fun next week. So this is the one where we're going to just review the year, have a look back, have a think about our wins, what did we learn, and generally get through the day thinking about what we've done and what we're going to be doing. And to join me today, I'm going to invite in, as always, the effervescent Louise Eldridge.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. Wow, it's lovely to see so many of you here this morning. Wow, another day. Goodness, it's just coming around quick, doesn't it?
All the way around. It's like Groundhog Day this year.
It is indeed. And lovely to see some faces from before. Good morning. I see Russell's here.
Yes.
Queen's here as well. So yeah, it's lovely to see so many people.
Wonderful to have you in.
Emotional today, to be honest, Stu. You know, with all the nostalgia of looking back on the last year. It's going to be a really good event today. I'm looking forward to it.
I've been reviewing all of the events that we've done this last year, been looking at them, looking at all the videos, and just what has happened in this year has just been such a roller coaster. It's been so amazing to watch and to see, you know, all of the various businesses cope with what has been a sledgehammer of a blow and just still be here, still coming to the Biz Hub, still growing their businesses and focused on the future. I mean, thank you everybody for your energy this year, because it's been unbelievable to be a part of it.
Yeah, it has. It really has. And I tell you what else has been great is the new Biz Hub WhatsApp group. Oh my goodness. It's just been so lovely to see so many of you interacting and chatting and getting involved. So yeah, that's really brought things together, to be honest. So it's a real high for me this week. I love waking up and seeing all the messages and interacting and seeing what's going on. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. I hope you've all enjoyed it too. Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you've really enjoyed the interaction that's going on in the Biz Hub group.
So Dave needs the login details for the webinar. I will shoot that over to him after we have completed the intro. I can't multitask that well. Not this morning. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through the usual introduction with Louise, and then we'll crack on with the main event. So here we go with the sharing of the screen. Hopefully you can see that. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me you can. Tell me you can't. I can't do much about it if you can't.
I can see it. So
sit a bit closer to the screen.
Oh, we've had Joanna Sprague said, yep. So I presume everybody can see it. Great.
Fantastic. So we've got the introduction as always. Oh, we've got the introduction as always, followed by Emma Selby giving us a roundup and a thought about what's going on, what's been going on, and her insights about this year, and various takeaways, just a general review of the year. We've then got James Child joining us. He'll be along in very short order. Very busy man, so we're very privileged to have him. He's doing the whole town regeneration like Atlas. It's resting on his shoulders. And then we follow that up with a Q&A, talking to James about what's happening with maybe the makers market and other things going on, like the regeneration at Bosque, some wonderful things happening there. And if that goes ahead, and if we're allowed to meet in person, and if we can arrange it all, then possibly at some point in 2021 we will be having an in-person meeting. But there's a lot of ifs on that, a lot of ifs and buts. We don't know what's going to happen, and I would have been confident this time last year to say we'll be meeting up and we'll be doing this. Oh,
we never know.
Never know. And then we're going to have a roundup and highlights, and we've got a little treat. There's a reason why I've been reviewing the year and reviewing all of the meetings that we've done. A little treat for you at the end, just to round things off, and then maybe a little Q&A about your favourite bits and what we've been all enjoying this year. Then we're going to talk to you quickly about what's going on in 2021. A quick BiZHUB update.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that we've got this new regime, we're trying to do all of the BiZHUBs online. As you know, we made the change at the end of March last year, so we've rejigged things. As you can see on the slide, we've still got 4 weeks of content. Week 1 will be a presentation, and week 2 will be an inspirational talk. Those may be interchangeable depending on the speaker and their schedule, because we're going to try and get some great speakers again this coming year. Then week 3 is collaboration. This is a change to the usual thing of the member spotlight, which will become an ad hoc session as and when we feel we need to talk to some of our members. So week 3 is a collaboration session, which will be a workbook session, and it's a members only meeting so that we can really focus on your businesses. And then week 4 is, as usual, the mini mastermind with the AM and PM meetings. As it says on the screen, you can see those are members only meetings. The mastermind timings will be exactly the same as before. The other timings will be 9:30 till 11 in one continuous meeting, and we will do it very similar to how we have been doing it, where it will start out as a webinar and everybody will be promoted to panelists so we can then discuss the topic at hand. We've worked on that quite a lot, haven't we, Lou? Working out the logistics and how it's all going to fit together.
Yeah, we definitely have. And to be honest, it's really, it's not a major shake-up, but it's slightly different to what we're doing. We're keeping the same format because it works and you all enjoy it, but it's always good to just change things around a little bit more. I certainly feel excited about week 3, which is collaboration, which is groups of people getting together and really, chatting to each other and finding out how they're doing things and collaborating and working with each other, because I think that is what is missed when you're in the room. So certainly as we do more and more online, I think, bringing that collaboration session back together is always a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of this tweaks and changes is from things we've been monitoring and feedback from you guys and gals, and just generally trying to make it as efficient and effective as possible to give everybody you know, as much time as they can to do the implementation of the stuff that they learn. So that's what's going on in 2021. Then we've got a small update to the pricing, Lou.
Yeah, we do. Just before we start on that, Stu, can I just ask you just to help James? He's just trying to get into the webinar. So if I could talk about the pricing, if you could just maybe send a link to James just to get him helped into the webinar, if that's okay, Stu. And
Yeah,
I'll just quickly talk about the pricing. So we're having a small change with pricing next year. From January 2021, new members are going to pay £75 a month. The good news is current members will continue to pay the £55 a month. If you're a past member and you're going to rejoin, and you rejoin before the 31st of January, we can keep you at the £55 a month. It's just, so with regard, you know, things going up and we're just changing it around a little bit, but don't worry, rest assured, if you're a member now, your membership will still stay at the £55 a month. So yeah, don't fear about that. Right, so then moving on, we I think we'll probably just talk about LinkedIn. I think, oh no, we talk about wins.
We're going to get people prepared to think about their wins and their learnings, because we're going to come to that in a very, very short order. And so get your thinking caps on. What have you won? Maybe this year, maybe think back over the year. What's your big win this year? That would be nice to hear. Or you can talk about your win or your learning this week, this month. Up to you. But the next one is LinkedIn Local, as you said, Lou.
So LinkedIn Local, as you all know, is the third Tuesday in January. So it's the 19th of January. We're going to be running LinkedIn. Please come along. It's a great event. We've never done it in person, actually, to be honest, because we launched this in March this year. And when we launched it, we were obviously in lockdown. So it's a lockdown event. But to be fair, when we get back into the new regime, it's going to be in a pub somewhere in Alton, probably, or perhaps Borden. I'm not sure yet. So please come along. It's honestly, it's been proving to be really, really successful. Just people getting to know each other, and it's completely relaxed. So if you haven't booked on before, please come and see us in 2021. Who knew? It's coming around so fast. I just feel like we haven't even done 2020 yet. But
no, I know. It feels like it's zoomed past in a blink of an eye. I can't believe it. We're here in December already. Like I said, you know, reviewing all those meetings over the past year. It's wow. Just what a privilege to be a part of it, though. You know, such a vibrant community. On a personal note, having those discussions, talking to people with enthusiasm and energy has kept us all up, has kept us all buoyant. You know, we've had interactions, each team member's had interactions that we've brought back to the team and gone, it's amazing, this person's doing this and this person said that. So please do keep sharing your wins and your learnings, because it really does help, not only for yourself, but it helps us to know that you're fully engaged with your business and are making steps in the right direction.
I love what Lorna Smith has just said in the chat. She said it definitely did zoom past.
Oh.
Nice, Lorna. I like that analogy.
Yeah, you're going to like what happens at the end, Lorna, with a little treat I've got. So yes, today is the penultimate session, and next week is we let down our hair, we get into a relaxed mode, we have some fun. We've got a little quiz. I've been putting that together. That's been fun. We're going to be trying charades.
I've been practicing, Stu, to be fair. Practicing charades on Zoom. Yeah, well, who knew?
Hey, listen, even if it's the worst thing you've seen all year, it's going to be funny. But no, it'll be great. It's going to be great. And we've also got some awards. We did the awards last year. We've got a few this year. You will be getting a virtual PDF version that you can print out at home if you win an award. And it's just silly, tongue-in-cheek fun and games. There's no higher purpose than that next week.
It's going to be a good event.
I'm already chuckling in my head because I know.
Stu, move on to the next slide. Don't give too much away.
Don't get too too much too soon. Wait,
Exactly.
keep your gunpowder clear. Right, as we mentioned last week, topics in January, February and March, we revealed January 21 post-Brexit business, February 21 mindset and motivation, and March 21 planning for the future. And all those events will be up and available to be booked from next week. So please do keep an eye on your inbox. We will update you. We will let you know when those events are live on Eventbrite. Just some final last minute tweaks to the Eventbrite listings, and then they'll be live. So
can I also just add something here? Can all members look out in the post? That's all I'm saying. Make sure you look out in the post next week. You've got something coming to you, so don't ignore.
Oh, has BiZHUB Santa Elf been busy?
I just like to be mysterious, Stu, to be fair.
Well, yes, well, do keep your eye out on the post then.
Good.
Okay, wins, learnings, or both. I've seen the chat go absolutely wild, so I'm really hoping that there are some great wins or learnings. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for this so we can see what's going on. So yes, who have you got there, Lou?
Joanna Sprague, major win, being forced back into developing my own painting. Love it. And I was missing it more than I realized. She sold 4 major art commissions and getting a lot of enjoyment from forced change and direction. Back to teaching classes again in 2021. Joanna, your paintings are incredible. Honestly, they are really lovely. Anybody that hasn't seen them, have a look. And you've got some great deals on for Christmas as well. So yeah, definitely have a look at those. Well done, Joanna.
And I've been seeing Joanna in the building, and the smile on her face is really worth it. Just, you can tell when someone's enjoying themselves.
Definitely, you definitely can.
Yeah. Sheila's done something amazing. She joined a group who set the challenge to achieve a goal in 14 days. And she had the goal of selling retail £1,000 worth of her products. And she's exceeded it in 6 days. I mean, Sheila, that is amazing. Just really amazing. Good. Well done. Fantastic. And that's the accountability piece as well. You know, setting a deadline, setting a goal, creating some accountability, and just going for it. So well done.
Oh, Keith Budden has put in 2 wins this week. Oh, well done, Keith. Wow. Business first. Contract to provide GDPR services to a multi-million healthcare equipment supplier. And then with my chair of East Hants Rail Partnership hat on, Liss Station won 3rd prize at the National Community Rail Awards in the permanent artwork installation category. Woohoo! Who should that be? Oh, Keith, you're feeling very spirited this morning. How lovely.
Excellent. I think the spirit of Christmas is starting to seep out. Everyone's getting it.
It is.
Shayna says that wins and learnings, more than I could possibly type. One of the things she's talking about is she's had a supportive team working and helping people. But brilliant. It all came good in the end, and her jewelry business has been phenomenal, and it's looking at 100% year-on-year uplift. So that's great. Well done, Shayna.
That is really good. Katrine Orr has sold 475 hats last month. The whole family are packing hats now. Katrine, that's incredible. Well done. That's really, really good. Fantastic.
Might we say hats off? Oh, that's so wonderful. Lisa's learned much about herself, and this year being her first full calendar year in business. If this is your first year in business, Lisa, then all I can see is up, because it's been amazing to have you helping the team and offering us PA services, and just amazing. Just really added and contributed every time you've interacted with us. So thank you very much for that.
Very good. Who else have we got?
We've got Matt. This year, his win is a decision to go all in on his business, and he's left his 9-to-5 job to start his journey as a full-time web design agency. Matt, as somebody who's been doing it 25 years, I salute you. I welcome you in the trenches. If you need any help, advice, please do get in touch. I know you're a Wix web developer, but if there's anything that I personally can do to help you, I know that you live locally in Borden, and I think we met once a BiZHUB event, or possibly BBX. So do get in touch. Lovely to have you with us.
We've only got time for a couple more. Lorna has said it's been an ideal year for keeping in touch with customers, and we still managed to exceed last year's sales performance. I mean, these are just incredible wins. Well done, Lorna. That's really good. Do you know, this section of it is just so inspirational, seeing small businesses really develop and really grow and really exceed their expectations. So well done, everybody. I don't think we've got time for much more. It's already 10 to 10, so I think we need to move on. But all your wins will be recorded, and as always, they will be put in our newsletter. So look out for that when that comes out. But thank you for everybody putting them in the chat.
So Lou, without further ado, why don't we get to our main event?
All right, so the main event today is we've got two speakers coming in today. First of all, we've got Emma Selby, who's the founder of SiGNAL, and we've also got James Child, who's the project lead of the Whitehill and Borden Regeneration Company. If I can ask you both to please come in and we can introduce you both together. Good morning. Morning. Lovely to have you here with us today.
Good morning.
Hi, James. Nice to see you. Good. So what we're going to do, the format of today is what we decided is we're going to elevate everybody into a panelist so we can see everybody. I think because it's quite an interactive session, it's quite good to be able to see everybody on the screen. So I'm going to get Stu now to invite everybody into the room as if we were in the building, and let's get everybody in the room. Emma is going to kick off with a quick roundup of the year, and then we're going to pass it over to James, and James is going to be talking about what's happening in the new town centre. So everybody, lippy on, because you're going to be visual in a minute.
One little thing, if you wish to pin one of the speakers so that they're large in your screen, if you hover over their tile, you will see 3 dots next to the word mute. Click that, and then where it says pin, you can pin that person to your screen, and they will be the biggest thing on your screen.
Careful how large you go.
Just in case anybody's peering at their screen thinking that's very small. But you're all Zoom experts by now.
We all are. Brilliant.
So I'm promoting everyone to a panelist. Please accept it and then start filtering into the room.
Everybody will start filtering in. It's always nice this time that you can see everybody coming into the room and saying hi. Don't be shy. Please put your cameras on. You don't have to, obviously, but it is nice to see you. Morning, Angie. Hi, nice to see you. Good to get everybody in the room.
One caveat to that, just put your camera on if you're dressed for camera.
Oh, oh, don't ruin it, Stu. It's always fun.
I've got to switch mine off.
The other day, Emma phoned me to talk about something and told me what the time was, and I suddenly realised I only had 20 minutes to get ready for an on-screen meeting.
I think what we've learned in this lockdown, always be camera ready. I think that's what we've all learned. Hi, Claire. Nice to see you. Morning, morning, everybody. Right. So we're all in. So Emma is going to start the show and just walk us through.
All right, well, hello, thank you guys. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see so many of you here. It's hard to believe, but this is actually the 45th BiZHUB of 2020. So if you add in the 4 Jumpstart January events that we had before lockdown, that makes this the 49th event of the year, and it makes next week the 50th and final BiZHUB event of 2020.
Wow.
So I'm going to start by saying a big thank you to our hosts, Lou and Stu, for turning up to every single one of those events, looking fabulous, being professional and bringing you that kind of mix of fun and news and entertainment you've all got so used to. And also, lovely to see you here, Claire. I want to say thank you to the rest of the team who work so hard behind the scenes to produce this year in, year out. And I know they make it look really easy and seamless, but actually it's quite a production job to get an event like this out every single week, week in, week out. So I thought it'd be nice if you all popped a thank you into the chat if you think that the team have done a fantastic job this year of producing the BiZHUB. I'm sure you do. Amazingly, before lockdown, we managed 14 live events, including the Jumpstart January events. And we even managed to squeeze in a couple of trips to the yacht. Now, doesn't that seem like a long time ago, everybody? So for those of you who might have joined more recently, we have a networking event. We're members of a place called the Yacht, which is a boat on the Thames. And we take our hub members there when restrictions allow, or when there are no restrictions. We used to take hub members there once a month. So yeah, looking back on that, it just seems like a lifetime ago.
I don't know, it's always that last minute rush for the train as you leave the yacht. And there's that last minute for that final train. So yeah, they are good times.
Yeah, so many times running across Waterloo Bridge to get the 25 minutes past 10. Yeah. So this time last year, exactly this time last year, we were all doing the taiko drumming event, drumming in 2020. And at that point, we were all blissfully unaware of what this year was going to hold for us. But I'm so glad that we spent so much time on our community building activities when we still could, because it meant we went into the pandemic as such a strong community, which is, I personally believe, is why so many of us are still here now. So 2020, small businesses had a really hard time this year, and micro businesses, like most of you guys in the room, have been especially badly affected. The pandemic impacted micro more than any other kind of business, and the percentage of micro businesses that closed their doors in 2020 between March and October was 17%. That's the percentage of businesses that remain closed at the end of October 2020. That's obviously nearly 1 in 5 businesses, and almost 3 times as high a percentage as the percentage of medium and large businesses that shut their doors. We all know people who've been personally heavily impacted, and sadly we lost some of the businesses in our own community here too. The year was particularly bad for those business owners who fell through the cracks and they were unable to apply for any government subsidies. The criteria for all government grants excluded at least half of all micro businesses. Some say as many as 3 million micro businesses remain now excluded from any government support. And that also applies to a very large percentage of our membership here. But incredibly, most of us have survived, and some against all the odds. And it has really been a pleasure and a privilege this year to work alongside you all, such determined and quick thinking individuals who have just simply refused to give up, as we all found ways to navigate this once in a lifetime crisis. The ability of small business to change direction fast and just keep moving is astonishing, and it's one of the reasons that I and all of the team love working here in this environment, in this community. So congratulations to all of you for surviving this very tough year, for sticking around, for participating and bringing energy to this community, as Stu and Lou were saying, and for helping others to keep going too. It's been a year when we've all realised exactly how important community is to all of us. I do agree with Lou. I wish we'd started the BiZHUB WhatsApp group right at the beginning of the pandemic. It's been so inspiring. I mean, the amount of chat and support, the level of support and help in there and compassion is so high. I love all of you guys, and your can-do attitude to everything just cheers me up every day. The village WhatsApp group also was amazing all the way through the pandemic. That one did keep going, and I think it's those sorts of things that just kept our spirits going through the dark months. So speaking of cheering everybody up, I thought that I would pick my favourite top 5 positive things to come out of 2020 that we can carry forwards into 2021. So, of course, we know the pandemic was a black swan event, a once in a lifetime catastrophe on the scale of a world war in terms of the global impact on business. It stopped us all in our tracks and made us reevaluate everything. The awful consequences will be with us for years, and I'm really in no way belittling the adversity that we've all been through. And some of us have had really tragic events in our lives this year. But there are always some positives, and I'm a great believer in looking for the opportunities in every crisis. So here are my top 5. Number 1, and it's our favourite word at SiGNAL, and it is collaboration. We saw our SiGNAL residents continuing to come into work on site throughout the year, wherever possible, safely, supporting each other and working together. I personally loved the hand sanitizer collaboration between the Hogmore Gin Distillery using their alcohol and Ryland's Research using their profound knowledge of lubricants. So the strangeness of the circumstances prompted many new and unusual partnerships. And for all of you in the audience, I would love to know if you collaborated with somebody new or unusual this year as a result of the pandemic. Please do just mention it in the chat. I'd love to hear about it, and I'd like to talk to you about it afterwards as well, because let me give you an example from SiGNAL. Early on in the pandemic, we were contacted by the local surgery, Badgerswood, and we were asked to help print PPE visors because somebody had told somebody that we have a 3D print area at SiGNAL, which is true. So we were able to use our 3D print equipment and training. Fortunately, Gareth didn't forget his training on the 3D printer, and he was able to just go and grab that 3D printer and start printing visors for the NHS. We were also able to use our social platforms to reach out and collaborate with other small businesses, local 3D print companies, and between us, we created 1,000 visors for the NHS. Now, this for us was a collaboration well outside of our usual reach and driven by kind of urgent social need. I think at the time, as we all remember, the country was coming together every Thursday night to clap for the NHS and for key workers. And I think it made us all feel that we were part of something larger and more important than ourselves, which just gave us the courage to bridge those gaps and offer help to the community where needed. I really appreciate also that at the same time, over the last year, we've begun to collaborate more with government at local level. So the collaboration isn't just with other businesses, but also other organisations locally. I think the feeling of overwhelming crisis meant that many differences were put aside as we all worked together to help each other. Businesses became aware of the machinery of local government as they sought advice and claimed grants. The small business sector, usually fairly invisible to government, needed financing. And the council, EHDC, was tasked with delivering that help. So new relationships were made as information was sought on both sides. And those relationships have continued and flourished and have become extremely useful. It's great for us that Keith, who I know is here, hi Keith, is a district councillor, and Andy Tree, leader of the town council, are both fully engaged members of our business community and are able to signpost us to the right people and the right advice. We're able to use our case studies to inform funding allocation process at county council level and help many of you access grant funding as a result of those relationships. So getting the right information at the right time and that good working relationship with government is just really valuable. I know that many of you have also dealt directly with EHDC and have had help from them. And for example, the gin distillery recently had some helpful advice with the result that they are now allowed to reopen their gin school. So yeah, a good relationship between EHDC is something that has come out between EHDC and private business at a local level, is something that's come out of the pandemic and is key to our goal of making Borden the best place to run a business. Okay, number 2 is competence. And the next positive impact of the pandemic is that the adversity has improved our business and leadership skills. They say that smooth seas do not make a skillful sailor. Well, anyone that's had to navigate a small business through 2020 will have had to sharpen their skills. A lot of businesses use downtime to complete training, and some of our local businesses here created courses to deliver training to our community, which was a win-win. So for example, Angie Brown, I know you're in the audience, hi. Angie Brown was pretty much at her wit's end when I spoke to her in March, having lost all her customers overnight. But then she put together a really good Facebook training group for small businesses and, for example, ran a Canva training course. I know you went on, Lou, and thoroughly enjoyed.
I did.
Many of you,
a really good course.
yeah, thanks, Angie. Many of you have used the downtime to really reflect on the strategic direction of your business and become better business leaders. I think a lot of us were forced to become more strategic through sudden loss of revenue. It's nothing like a sudden loss of revenue to sharpen the wits. I was speaking to Russell of Kibo Kitchens yesterday, and he is one of those people who took some time to reflect on his business direction and whose strategy now, as a result, is much more refined than it was in March, with the result that he's going into 2021 with a full pipeline of customers, something that he hasn't managed in previous years. So Russell, I hope that you attribute that new strategic success to all of your BiZHUB sessions and masterminds that you attended in 2020. So number 3 is compassion. And compassion being the realization here that we need to be kinder to ourselves and others. And in 2020, I think the slowing of pace has meant that formerly frantic workaholics, and I know there are many of you in the room, have discovered what it means to take things a little bit more slowly And lack of entertainment options has seen many of us take to new daily exercise and fresh air routines. Those of us with children and animals have spent a lot more time with them and been reminded that there are actually more important things than work and business. So even those business owners lucky enough to be in unaffected industries, I think will have slowed down their social and travel activities and spent a lot more time doing not a lot at home. And I, for one, have discovered that I actually rather enjoy this way of living. I do think that as a group, small business owners tend to punish ourselves with really long hours, and we tend to neglect the things that we love and enjoy. And I hope that this pandemic has helped us find a better way. I think the insight for me from this is that if you slow down the pace and work shorter amounts of time and do more exercise and get outside more, you do actually get more and better work done in the long run. Health equals wealth, as they say, and in fact, we're dedicating a whole month to this topic in 2021, as we think that it's really important for our business owners to start taking care of themselves. And I know that Joanna, our new physio and Pilates instructor, will agree with me if she's here. Number 4 is community, another favourite word of ours. This year, everybody has realised the value of their social capital, the importance of their community, the importance of their relationships, and closer to home, the importance of their family and friends. All of these are a vital part of our support networks, without which we simply can't carry on in business. And I don't think we'll ever fail to appreciate the support again after this year. We always say no one can build a business alone, and I think businesses who took the time pre-pandemic to build solid social capital and significant relationships around their businesses, like the relationships that many of you have built here at the BiZHUB, will have fared better during the crisis than the business owners that didn't do that. I think that 2020 has been a really winning year for those authentic businesses who really got to know and understand their customers and really communicated with them. So when the crisis hit, they were able to respond to their needs, even when those needs had changed abruptly. I think our community here is actually stronger now than it was at the beginning of 2020. And I believe that that has made all of your individual businesses more likely to survive whatever 2021 throws at us. Strong community makes us more resilient as individual businesses. My final positive impact of 2020, and I tried to make it begin with C as well, but I couldn't, so it is neighbourhood. Yeah, we're all loving local. How fantastic is it that we've all discovered our local shops, restaurants and pubs turned takeaway delivery services, not to mention our local beauty spots. It's been great that the Hogmore Cafe has opened up. What a great area for families that is now. And we're also really excited to be working on the wayfinding project. And Gary and I went and had a good explore of all of the new pedestrian cyclist routes around the Hogmore Cafe. And it's just a lovely area to spend time in. James Gross and Gary are both working on the wayfinding project using local businesses to help mark out the pedestrian and cyclist routes that are going to connect Whitehill and Borden. Using and loving your local neighbourhood is definitely a trend that is here to stay. Now that we all understand the tech that makes home working possible, and of course with lovely co-working centres like SiGNAL available, nobody wants to go back to the 9 to 5 and the London commute. Work from home people want to know what else is in their neighbourhood, and it's great for those of you who live here and run local businesses. People who used to travel up to London and spend their coffee and snack money at Waterloo are now walking to their nearest local cafe. Those people just want to know what is locally available to them. So it's great that we've got a new business here, Dane, who's setting up a coffee van empire to take business by storm. Because at SiGNAL, we think that Borden residents are going to want to know much more about what they can buy and consume locally. We put together an online platform during the pandemic to get all the local businesses in one place. You may have heard us mention it recently. We've just posted the first founder member blogs on our website, so please do take a look. The long-term goal of My Town Online is to create an integrated and engaged community of business owners across the whole of Whitehill and Borden, so not just restricted to the people that we have in the SiGNAL village. We want to create a community of business owners across the whole area that can be easily accessed by local customers and also by anybody coming new into the area. So that's my top five positive impacts of the pandemic for small business. 2020 has definitely been a challenge, but it's made us more connected, kinder, sharper, more resilient, and happier staying and shopping in our local neighbourhood. So it wasn't all bad. We've got so much to look forward to in 2021 with the opening of the town centre, which will bring our community so many opportunities and possibilities. So thanks very much for listening to my 5 pandemic positives. I'm now going to hand over to James, who is the project lead of Whitehill and Borden Regeneration Company, and also a wonderful and visionary person who I've had the pleasure of working very closely with since 2016. And James has a vision of the town centre as a place driven by the resilience and determination of local businesses like yours and ours. SiGNAL is the embodiment of that idea. So James has really been the driving force behind everything we've done at SiGNAL over the last 3 years. So it's a great pleasure to have you here with us today, James, and looking forward to hear what you have planned for the town centre in 2021. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. What an introduction. Hey, how can I move on from that? Very kind words. Thank you.
No
worries. I was reflecting on the earlier discussions on wins and challenges that we've all faced this year, and I'd certainly like to highlight some of the wins that the town has had. And what I thought I'd try and do is share a presentation with you, so you can just visualize some of the things that have been happening and some of the things that are to come. Now, one of the things I have learned is how to use the Zoom better, but I would not say I'm a particular expert yet. And so if I crash out, I will try and rejoin as soon as I can. So bear with me, please. If you could let me share.
Have you got permission to share?
Yeah, he should have.
Mm-hmm.
It says host. Oh, great, thanks. Can you all see that?
Yes.
I know it's a bit lopsided. So we're responsible for the area of the former Prince Philip Barracks. It's a 15 to 20 year redevelopment project. It's not something that we're trying to work through as quickly as we can. We're trying to work through the project at the right pace to deliver the right things for the town, with a very long-term goal of making sure that it becomes a great place to live, work and enjoy for the future. I'm 5 years into the job, as Emma has said, but I have at least 10 more years to go. It's nice to be able to be involved for that long in any project, because you reap the benefits of it in terms of your personal the personal rewards that come from working on projects like this. This is very much for us about giving something back that the community want to see, and making sure we're all proud of what a legacy that's going to be created here, and that actually it benefits everybody in and around the area. So this is a great aerial view of Hogmore enclosure, with some of the new housing on the northwest side here. And that was one of the first things that was delivered before even a house was built. And now it's become very much a community resource, as Emma had said. I'm really looking forward to the park runs starting up again, because they're a great event in Hogmore enclosure. The new town centre, an aerial view, the new leisure centre here on the right hand side, which is now open. This was obviously taken before the works was finished. And the Makers Market is going here. And all of this area is the area of the new town centre. It's a very large area, and it's reserved for the town centre, and it will be delivered over a five-year period. And it will every year something new will be coming, and something we'll be looking forward to new things each year. Cafe Hogmore we mentioned, and the community work that's been going on, and the reasons for showing the great work the Community Trust and others are doing at Cafe Hogmore is because this also provides a network of events and activities that everyone in the town can benefit from, and everything will start linking up. So we're getting new groups arriving at Cafe Hogmore from within and outside of the town. And as more and more spaces and places come on board, more and more things will be happening in the town, and it will be a real attraction for everybody that's living here. The project itself, 2,400 homes, more than 300 occupied now. New town centre, a large 250,000 square feet town centre, including retail and office. And it's no secret that SiGNAL will grow with the town centre too, and that we're starting on the concept designs of the new spaces in the town centre for SiGNAL as it grows. And the other side of this is the jobs that come from B1, B8 spaces, and we're starting next year the new Asthma D 130,000 square feet head office building. That will be, you'll see that coming out of the ground in February, so that's something really look forward to. And hopefully Asthma D will all move all of their business into it early in 2022. It will take 12 months to build. So where we are, we're on quite a long timeline. If I could put it chronologically, I wouldn't be able to fit it on one page. So this is not supposed to be, for all you scientists out there, and very bad, it doesn't reflect a real timeline. But we're sort of in a place where a number of things have already opened, some of which we've done, some of which others have done. For example, Future Skills Centre, a great first resource from Homes England and Hampshire County Council. The Business Enterprise Hub and Oxford Innovations Base, you know, two key new things in the town. And you know, it's interesting how the space businesses are want to take up the challenge in Whiten and Borden and make Whiten and Borden a place where space is explored from and developed from, which is a great thing for the town. Going forward, I've mentioned the Asthma D facility and some of the homes that are coming, but here I thought I'd start by just talking to you about the Makers Market, which is branded The Shed. This is the front of the town square side of The Shed, and one of the things that we're really pleased with is the response from local businesses in taking up spaces in The Shed, and we've got 16 spaces, of which we've already committed 11 of those spaces. So already today, this unit here at the end will become a bike hire and also bike sales. And a great place to start in the town centre, hire a bike and then go and explore the area around. For those of you that don't want to make too much effort, you can even get an electric bike, so that would be quite good. But there are lots of different types of food being offered. We've got Thai, we've got a Mexican, we've got a deli, we've got a vegan place, and we've also got a charcuterie and a wine and cheese trader as well. So it's going to be a broad mix of different types of businesses here. And everybody is local, you know, they're coming from Liss, they're coming from Borden, they're coming from up the road in Farnham. It's all local businesses are really keen to make this their home for the new business going forward. And actually some of them want to grow up from this business into more retail and more food and beverage businesses on the next things that come. And this is a view on the town park side with the Shed on the left there, with a view up to what is the front of the Sergeant's Mess, and behind this shop would be the leisure centre itself. And this is the next stage. So where the mess hall is, the town park, or where those trees are at the end there. And this is the sort of high street end of what the next building will be, where we've already got 3 or 4 traders in mind who've reserved their places in this, including a microbrewery, a big microbrewery that we're going to bring in here in a tap room. And it's very much about leisure and a destination and a place to be. And we're going to have an arts gallery and heritage centre at the top here. We're going to have bars and restaurants as well, and so it's very much going to be a place for people to enjoy and spend their time, particularly at weekends. There's going to be outdoor markets, and we've got a vegan market once a month. We've got farmers markets, and then we've got other markets regularly, particularly on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, with up to 40 stalls. And we're still working with the CCG and the NHS to try and bring the health hub into Whiting and Borden, consolidate the resources. It's a very challenging time for the NHS, as we know. And our designs have taken longer to bring forward because obviously the NHS have got quite a few priorities that they've got to deal with at the moment, particularly the logistics of how do you vaccinate 40, 50 million people in quite a short space of time. And all credit to all of those we work with, and Emma's worked with them too, of how they just managed to do the most important things extremely well, notwithstanding the administration that's involved to just get stuff done. And so here's a sort of collage of some of the things that are already in the town, and the wins have been actually on the public sector side. We've had the leisure centre is now open. What a great result, despite everything. People are using it. People are enjoying the pool and the gym. East Hants District Council has done an amazing job of getting that ready, just even through the pandemic for use and occupation. We've, with the LEP, Local Enterprise Partnership, have helped fund getting the shed and the town centre, town park and town squares going, and that funding really has spurred us on to get the next plans for the town centre away. We couldn't have done it without the LEP, and all credit to them and their support, and it shows what a commitment everybody in the stakeholders are making to this town. And I know there are lots of challenges. I know we all get criticised. Recently there's a big concern about the number of trees that might have to come down for the next phase of housing that we're doing around the Bosque Pavilion. And yes, we're alive and really learn from the things that we must do properly to make sure that it's a high quality place without destroying the environment that we live in. But rest assured, I just wanted to say that we've taken a lot of time with tree experts and our archaeologists, arboriculturists, ecologists, just to try and get these plans right. And our plans do change from public consultation, and that we listen to what Emma and the community says to us. And now actually our plans have changed. Hogmore Cafe would not exist if it weren't for the public consultation events that have taken place. We never had any intention in the original plans to have that sort of resource, but what a great resource it has come to be. And Bosque Pavilion too, you go up there, it's a fitting building for the environment, particularly for cricket. It celebrates cricket wonderfully and had really good trading over the summer. And the Eat Out Help Out scheme was amazing for that, to support that facility, and it was very popular particularly during the summer months. And we've already got 6 weddings booked for next year, so if anybody's contemplating getting married, COVID has made them want to get married. It's a great event. Do come to Bosque and celebrate it in your town. It'd be a great event to have there. So that's just a flavour of some of the things that we sort of enter into the new year, I think, in a much more positive frame of mind. The news on the vaccine is just, for everybody, is such a relief, I think. And there is a way in which business will be able to catch up again with the things that they should have done in 2020 but just couldn't, and take everything on board that Emma has said about the struggles and the crisis, and a lot of personal crisis as well as business crisis in people's lives, and people have lost and know people that suffered from this. But we sort of look forward with a lot more positive news, notwithstanding what Boris is trying to do in Brexit, and we all know where we stand on that. And that will be the next challenge for business. How do we get our materials and our supplies and are things ready post in the new environment. But for regional businesses, I think it's it's great, particularly in outer London and the outer urban centres. I think regions are going to really boom next year and onwards, and I take a very positive view of what the future is for Whitehall and Borden. I wouldn't like to be an office owner in London or a big retail owner in London, but as a small business or supporting regional businesses, we have got a real opportunity to make good next year and actually drive our businesses forward. So thanks for today.
Thank you very much, James. What a comprehensive roundup of all the hard work that's been put in. I moved to Borden nearly 12 years ago, 12 years at the beginning of next year. And to see the changes that are being brought is not only encouraging and heartwarming to be living in a town which is developing, but to see the pace of the change and to see, like you said, you know, the public consultation and things being tweaked and changed. And the leisure centre opening, I think one of our members was one of the first people in the pool. Was that true, Lisa?
Yep, 6:30 a.m. last Thursday, I was there in the pool, first one.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, last Thursday.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, James. That's amazing. Does anybody have any questions whilst we've got James here? You know, it's your town.
Can I just quickly jump in to say thank you to Emma as well for bringing that positivity, you know, we often forget the positivity, don't we, when we're sort of, you know, in the trudgery of things sometimes. And it's really good to look back and just realize that actually we have learned a lot this year. And as we've heard in the BiZHUB, week on week on week, of the wins that all small businesses are having, I do think that there's that positive change happening. I can certainly feel it, that positivity coming through. Everybody I now speak to in our community is having some kind of win in one way or another. So thank you, Emma, for going through those in the stages and really highlighting what we've learned and how we've, you know, benefited from the learnings that we've had.
Absolutely, yeah. And James mentioned it, the B word, Brexit, early next year. I think it's going to be a cakewalk. We're just going to brush it off. If we can get through a pandemic together, don't want to underestimate it, but you know, we're almost like, okay, what next? What can the universe throw at us? We can deal with it, like superheroes.
That is the focus for January, isn't it? We're not focusing on Brexit. We're focusing on what we can do to kind of ignore it and just be prepared.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
Ride it out.
Definitely. So, like I said, we've got James here for a little while longer. Is there any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Emma, fire away.
Sorry, James. I'm just going to start on the trees, because I know we get asked this quite a lot. What are you doing to mitigate the tree loss? Are you planting other trees in their stead?
Yeah, so across the development, we're actually planting more trees than we've lost, and that's always been the plan. And we've got to also enhance, it's not just about trees, it's about woodland and shrubs and other planting and enhancing the environment. So there are areas, the trees that are generally going are what was planted often by the army for post-war to practice their environment, their training environments. And actually a lot of the trees are not indigenous trees. So, you know, one of the key requirements earlier on was when we did take out a lot of trees around Hogman enclosure, it was to remove the trees to put back the heathland habitat that was for ground nesting birds. And we had to replant lots of heather and lots of other gorse and so on to create the sort of environment that would encourage the sort of wildlife that for the town that was to be brought back. So that was actually a planned tree removal to recreate a new habitat for the future. And around Boss Village, the only trees we're planning to take down was the trees we got permission generally to take down in 2015, just to where the houses are going to go. You know, we know this area is a very sensitive habitat. You've got SSSIs, Broxted Heath, and some of the other protected areas nearby. And we're working with the rangers and a lot of the ecologists locally to try and make sure that those areas are protected for what they're designed to be for. And you know, they were European protected areas, they're now national protected areas. It's very important that we maintain that and encourage people to go where people are supposed to go with their dogs and things, and try and keep them away from the habitats that need to be protected. So, you know, we're working with the Land Trust. The Land Trust looks after our Hogmore enclosure now. We're working with the Town Council, who look after Borden enclosure, really to make sure that we've got the right people to look after our natural habitats. And so the trees around Boss, yes, we're going to lose some of the trees as we've always intended to, but we are going to replant a lot more and a lot better going forward. We need it to be a really good environment for people to live in, and people want green space. We've seen that. You know, it's really important to bring that back in.
I know that last year Lou and I went on with Community First, didn't we, to clear some of the Himalayan balsam in the Deadwater area. Yeah. And we learned quite a lot about the natural habitat around Borden. I didn't realise, but the MOD, because it's been MOD territory for so long, it's been protected. The wildlife's been protected more than in many other areas. And apparently the MOD is actually responsible for safeguarding a great number of our species nationally, as well as around here. But we learned that I think it's the only place in the whole of the UK where there's all 12 different kinds of nesting lizards. Do we have nesting lizards or something lizards? Reptiles, something like that.
We also learned how hard gardening is, to be fair. It was really hard work. I thought I was just going for a jolly, to be honest, but it was really hard work. So yeah, it was good though. It was good.
It's very attractive photographs of us in our vests with our spades.
Don't look in the archives. Forget the archives for the photos.
But yeah, so natural environment is really important. I know it was mentioned at a meeting last week that one of the leaders of the Extinction Rebellion actually live in Borden. So I wondered whether it might be an idea to go head to head with her, James, and have a bit of a discussion about the development and interview.
We're of a view that, you know, we have to have development in Whitehall and Borden in order to get all the good things that we want to see, including a new town centre. You know, we have permission to build up to 2,400 houses, and that pays for everything that we've seen. You know, that pays. There's 54 million of Section 106 contributions, including our contributions to the roads and Oakmore School and the new primary schools and
SiGNAL
and SiGNAL itself. And the Jerry, I think is her name, she's very much saying that we shouldn't have development at all. There's enough houses, there are enough. This is just the wrong thing for communities and this community here. And I don't think that I'll ever be able to argue any different with her. So I welcome the challenge, but I'm not sure it would be particularly productive for anybody to have what would be a fairly difficult interview to moderate. But if you're up to moderating it, I'll be there.
Like a challenge.
You like a challenge.
Well, something to think about. Are there any other questions? Lisa, you're on mute.
Hi, yeah. So it's good to hear about the shed and the mess hall, and that it's all really local, small businesses. That's brilliant. Going back to when people in Whitehill and Borden were talking about the new town centre, probably 3 years ago, they were talking cinemas, restaurants, big chains. I'm not necessarily for that. I'm just thinking with COVID and the reduction in people using the high street, have those plans changed at all? Or will it still be just local businesses?
So we never intended it to be a traditional high street. So you associate traditional high streets with sort of fashion and Primark and clothes and things. That was never, even in the original submissions of planning applications, it was always what's called convenience retail, because there are centres that are supposed to be better able to bring those businesses together. So Guildford or Basingstoke or down to Portsmouth or whatever, you know, those bring enough of those businesses together to make them survive in the long term. We want to make sure our town centre is sustainable, and it was always about local and regional businesses. And you do get some chains that are very much regional chains. So if you took food and beverage, for example, you've seen increasingly Giggling Squid come up in lots of places. That's what I would call a kind of a regional chain. It's not necessarily a national chain. But more importantly, we thought, well, actually, you know, we're not about trying to squeeze the rents out of traders in the town centre, because people won't come with the business rates that they are. And that the imbalance between online and physical stores, it's just not fair at the moment. And we have in our business plans rents that people can afford, because it's more important for us to have a town centre, a vibrant town centre, a great place for some people to live and work, to draw people in. And the more vibrant the town centre, the more successful the place is going to be. So our business plans are not driven by a retail investment model. They're driven by what is affordable and what will support local and regional businesses. And that's, I think, testament to that is the number of people that are actually coming in and really trying to put their deposit down to take more and more space. So I'm really encouraged by the level of interest. And if we don't have traders, then the future of the housing is not there either. So, you know, the housing won't happen without a town centre. So it's very important for us to make it affordable and hence also our support for SiGNAL and other small businesses that, you know, that's what's going to make this place a great place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Good point. And quite a lot of the town centres are very homogenous because they have the chains. And if you go to one to the next, there's very little to sort of draw between them. But if Bordon has a town centre which has really local, really good, fresh produce and vibrant business owners who really know how to engage with their customers, then it will be an attractive proposition for people to come. They can come, spend some time in the town centre, go into Hogmore or Deadwater and have a day in Bordon, unlike anything else that they could do if they went to Guildford or Farnham. So I really love the fact that the town is developing in this way.
I think Sheila's got a question. Sheila?
Well, I saw
Yes.
Keith as well.
Sorry.
After Sheila.
Yes, sorry. Yes, I just wondered how unique is the Whitehill and Bordon regeneration nationally? Are there many other places in the UK doing what is happening here? And if I just say, I think it's absolutely fantastic because I'm an army child and my dad's last posting was in Bordon. So I knew it when Whitehill and Bordon, well, it wasn't that they didn't talk to each other, it was positively hostile. So I'm loving the coming together, but I just wondered how unique is this nationally?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think of the number of examples. So I'm biased because I work for Dorchester. So I would say that Upper Hayford, which was a former USAF Cold War air base, which we're developing there. We've got the same ethos there. We've got a new school. We're opening, Sainsbury's has just opened there, a new village centre, Cricket Green. You know, this is very much our model. But there are other places, but there are not that many large sites in the country that you can do this with. There is something that Homes England run, which is called the Garden Villages Programme. And that's based on the principles that Letchworth, if you might remember, was one of the original garden villages, which was supposed to combine all of these principles into developing great places. And actually in a lot of schemes today are on the drawing board on the basis of those garden village principles, which is good news for the future in lots of spaces. But it's, you know, how many houses are built a year? 200,000 houses. And most houses are built on edge of settlements or in pockets of housing within existing communities and existing places. So there aren't that many of these large scale developments, and some are better than others, you know, you all want to live where you really feel that you want to make a home, and it's emotional as well as it's not just about what's going there, it's how it comes together. And the culture of the place is really difficult to bring out, but we've got some great, you know, cultural assets here, including the Phoenix Theatre, for example. You know, how amazing is it to have some of the UK's best comedians just always come here? It's just like, and all the youth groups and the entertainment and the enthusiasm of the groups here to get things done. You know, the volunteer, I was really amazed during lockdown, the size of the volunteer groups that just popped up to get things done in the town. It's one of the, you know, one of the big things that of successes where, you know, there's a huge organization of volunteers suddenly appeared from nowhere and did lots of great work locally. And that was all an inspiration of people that live in Whitehall and Borden. And we've got to really celebrate these success stories, because that's great for this town for the future.
And we had quite a few community people on Signal Radio. I know you came along yourself, James. And we tried to get Borden Buddies on, who were doing some great work with food parcels and PPE and just generally helping people. And they were so busy that they couldn't afford 20-30 minutes to come on to Signal Radio. And I didn't want to, you know, press it because they had urgent work on, but it shows you the level of commitment that these people were so focused that even the promise of a shout out on the internet couldn't drag them away from it. And, you know, more power to them. It's been incredible to see the community come together the way that they have over the last sort of 9 months, 10 months. Keith, you had your hand raised, you've been waiting patiently. Would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, thanks, Stu. James, couple of questions if I can. I mean, I know we've met a number of times, obviously, but first one really is about the cinema, because I remember you and I sitting in a meeting probably 18 months ago now, where the cinema was very much the big attraction to come. So just really, if you give us an update on where we are on timescales on that, because as I understood it at the time, an operator was pretty well lined up. And the second thing is really, I think, I know we have a role as the district council as well in this, but one of the things which I think is lagging in the programme is the provision of public transport. And we're not where we need to be on that. So again, what's your thoughts on that?
So just start with the cinema. We did have plans for a 6-screen, 420-seater cinema. COVID-19 has absolutely driven a coach and horses through the economics of cinemas. And the cinema operators we've been working with are looking at what is the future model of cinemas, because they've come to realize that it's not viable to have a cinema half full. You can't run a cinema on half full. And secondly, as you've now all seen, the big studios are releasing films at the same time as films are released into cinemas. And Disney was the first to do that. And I think it's Warner Brothers have just announced that the next release will be the same time. So the streaming services also owned by these studios are as important to the film studios as the film distributions themselves. And if you're spending $300 million on a film, that any delay in income generation due to these sort of situations is a massive problem for what are actually essentially very profitable businesses. So our cinema is saying, well, let's design a way of bringing the screen to people, but not focus always on film. Let's have a space that can be used for other things. So the cinema operator is talking to us about what they call a multimedia centre, and there's some that have been done in East Anglia. If it was one in East Anglia, and the model is sort of digital screens which can turn into gaming centres or even learning centres. So you can book a 25-seater venue or a 50-seater venue, and you can have a business presentation, or you could have a workshop where somebody comes down to Google style to celebrate a launch of a new product or whatever it happens to be. and that will allow that the 60% of the time that a cinema is not in use to be used for other things. So we've got an outline of what that might look like, and we've combined that with plans for a future Phoenix theatre, because they're looking for a 300 seater venue. That's in terms of program, we've put that in one of the future phases of the town centre, and we're trying to work with the district council in making sure that it becomes a priority for the town. So that's within the gift of the district council to say, is this a priority? Because obviously the funding for that is quite significant. You're talking about probably about an £8 million investment. These are not businesses. These cinemas, theatres in particular, need funding support to be able to prosper. So we've got our initial plans. We're engaging with the district council on those, but it's something we very much welcome and like to see. And we've got a committed cinema operator who's never gone away. You know, they just want to get to the right model and it will be the first of it, the new kind of cinemas, I think, is what we'll end up having in 3 years' time.
No, thanks. That's really useful, because I was just concerned it had all gone a bit quiet. So it's good to know what's going on there.
Yeah, and then on transport, Keith, as you know, the responsibility for transport sits primarily with Hampshire County Council. And they look after the network of transport that goes around our regions and link up our towns, and there are currently a number of bus routes that Stagecoach are operating in the region, which are relatively low frequency and fairly poorly used, and the statistics are all there to see that they are not viable transport routes. They need public subsidy, and they're fully subsidised services. But we recognise that when a town centre comes along, we need better public transport, better links. So we engaged with everybody on the concept of a transport on demand type service for the price of a bus, which would be a private service, but again a subsidised service that would enable people to go get to places at times when the buses are not providing those links. So they would sit alongside the links, but also a service that wouldn't compete with the taxi firms, because if you want to go to the airport, you get a taxi. Or, we're not contemplating effectively bringing something in that would take away the business from the taxi firms in the town. So we've gone and worked with a bus operator called AMK. We're developing an app that allows the sort of on-demand responsive service, and we're trying to bring that in early part of next year to coincide with the opening of the shed buildings, so that the town links would happen at the same time. All of that's currently being reviewed by Hampshire County Council, and we need, obviously, we can't do anything without their support. I think the district council has been very supportive of the ideas. And we just really need to get the final bit of the buy-in from the county council in order to launch the service in March next year. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's good, because obviously I knew about that service coming, but equally I've been lobbied quite hard by the local taxi trade on their concerns. So it's good I can feed that back.
Yeah. The issue about I can understand the challenges that the worries that taxi firms will face, and we've met a number of them, and we've got to be alive to the fact that we don't want inadvertently to make somebody's livelihood dramatically different. But I think all we're trying to do is capture trips that are currently not being served by buses or taxis. We're trying to get the journeys going that haven't been happening today. We're not trying to take away journeys from anybody else.
Thanks for that, James.
Thank you for that. The engineers in the room have suggested either a monorail or autonomous pods. I think that's a rather tongue-in-cheek. I think they've been watching.
You may jest, but that was actually looked at 2 years ago. We are about. There are some quite interesting, exciting plans for the Longmore apple pie depot, and those will be announced probably in January or February. And the people there were potentially looking at a link between Longmore and Borden, and it was floated that we could have a monorail that links those two. And other people have been talking about park and ride and so on. But then when you look at the pods and how much, the one I know is the one at Heathrow Airport, and how much that actually costs to build, and the number of journeys you need to make that work, it was something that was quite quickly discounted by the people I work for, which say, are you realistic? But we should never drop these ideas. I think all these ideas are good. Should always explore them, but should always understand how much they cost and what's the challenges to deliver them. So we'll come back to the train. How many people have always wanted a train station in Whitehall and Borden? It wasn't the fact that the thing that stopped it actually was not the cost of putting the station in and the infrastructure linked to it. It was the cost on the overall network from extending a train one more stop and then back up on the line, and then they had to reprogram the whole of the network to accommodate that transition. And then National Rail got to a certain level in their sort of tick-off processes to enable that to happen, and the cost was something like 135 million they worked out to deliver the rail service. So you then say, well, hold on, it doesn't cost that much to build a station and a bit of track, but actually it's the knock-on costs that are the issue with some of these sort of complex complex environments, and that's why we don't have a train. But we if the Network Rail had costed it and said it would work, then we would have had a station. So we are where we are now. We definitely don't have a station, but we know we need to link up the stations with Whitehall and Borden, and hence this VOCA thing that I was just talking to Keith about. That's to you can get to a station for the price of the bus when you need to, and we're going to effectively put on those links to, and we started talking to South West Rail about making sure that the links to those stations are in there, so that people can time their journeys to coordinate with all the rail timetables and make sure that becomes effectively a kind of a stop extension to a train station. So it's quite positive discussions with South West Rail on that.
James, can you and I sometime in the next couple of weeks continue that conversation offline? Because with my chair of East Hants Rail User Group hat on, I'd like to A, hear what the proposal is, but B, also I've got some levers I can pull in South West Rail, which might help ease that along.
That would be great, thank you.
And looking to the future and semi tongue-in-cheek, maybe we can have a chat with Mr. Elon Musk if he's looking for Hyperloop demonstration or test subjects, and we could have one of those in Borden. About that, electric cars and Hyperloops in Borden.
Why not?
maybe 20 or 30 years down the line. Maybe James may have retired by.
I'm not sure I will, but there you go.
Does anybody else have any questions for James? It's your chance. He's here. It's your town. Did I see a hand raised there, Fiona and John? Was that? No, just put your hand up. Everyone's afraid to move now. James, I've got a question, just a simple question. When will the road through Borden be finished? Because there's been lots of sort of widening of pathways and fencing and all the rest of it. And I know that there's going to be some work around that entrance or the gateway to the town. When will that be start and concluded?
So the Hampshire County Council are currently working on the footpath that comes up from where Duke's Quarter is up to the Oak Hanger Road junction to enable people safely to move up and down that route. People also, now that the leisure centre is open, that road into the town centre is also going to be fully open by, I think, the first week of January. So you've got new roads opening, linking Budds Lane and what the A325, and also you've got the pedestrian route, pedestrian cycle route from that junction, junction 2 as it's called, Duke's Quarter, up to Oakhanger Road. There have been a number of repairs to be done. There's been a couple of car accidents on the Oakhanger Road junction. You may have seen that. And the county will do road safety audits and tweaks to the layout of all of these spaces to make sure that they can, they learn from what happens in the environment, and we'll be tweaking some of the road network over the coming months. And that then should effectively, the two primary routes will have been opened. The road up what's now the C114, the old A325, that goes up from Budds Lane, Chalet Hill, northwards to the Station Road junction. Those works are still ongoing, but there'll be a bit more destruction, but they're nearly finished. And that the improvement of the C114, there's a program of works to bring all of that through over a period of time. But what they're trying to do is obviously balance where works are going on with where works elsewhere are going on, because otherwise it becomes a nightmare to get in and around the town. So they're quite sensitive to time scales of when they do these works. But then we've got what's called, they'll eventually, with the town centre, there's got to be an improvement to the Chalet Hill junction, and which we will be funding. And there's a further works to be done along Budds Lane, and particularly linked to the town centre. So inevitably there's going to be several more years, 2 to 3 more years of works in and around the town on various elements of the network, but it's a continuing programme of works that Hampshire County Council are effectively overseeing. Okay,
and one little follow-up question: the double-decker houses I've noticed have been being emptied and boarded up. What are the plans there?
So they're owned by a company called Annington, and you will have seen up at St Lucia Park, beyond Quebec Park, some houses that they've refurbished the old MOD houses and been selling those, and the sales have gone quite well from what I gather. So their intention is to carry on with that sort of program on the area that's called Essex Close, which is that area which is all the boarded up areas. And they will bring those houses up into rent and for sale, starting from next year, I believe. So that's their intention.
So they're going to be refurbished, not knocked down?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I quite like them, actually. I know they have a kind of reputation, but I like odd architecture, and it's nice to see, those kind of houses. It reminds me quite a lot of where my grandparents in Nottingham lived. Oh, right. They lived in a place called the Poplars, and they were number 1 the Poplars, and my grandfather always called it top of the pops. Any further questions? Do we have any questions? Lisa. Yeah, we'll go to Lisa, and then we'll pop across to Dane. Lisa.
Just really quickly, what's happening down Hogmore Road? Because literally in the past week, more trees have come down. So heading down towards the cafe area, but along the main, by the bus shelter.
Yes, by the bus shelter. So yeah, that's an interesting one, the bus shelter. So that we have approval. The Sound car park, the Cafe Hogmore car park, was always intended to link onto Hogmore Road at that point, and the works have started to put that link in, so that becomes the new primary access for the car park, Sound car park. So those works are ongoing. The only interesting thing was that when we opened it up, ready to go onto the road, there was a bus shelter in the way. Now we
did wonder what's happening to the bus shelter.
It's not our bus shelter, but somebody in their wisdom put a bus shelter there without realising that there was probably another link that they'd also approved. So I think that's unfortunately 2 departments in Hampshire County Council that haven't quite coordinated their works. So the bus shelter will be moved. That will be the new entrance to the SAN car park.
So the other entrance, the main entrance as it is now, is just to the industrial bit down there.
Yeah, that will be the entrance, and primarily the exit actually for the new Asmodee headquarters building. So that will become used primarily by the business. The where people come in to use Hogmore enclosure will be the new entrance.
Okay.
Excellent.
I think Dane had a question first, and then we'll come to you, Aggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi all. So this one's quite specific to what I want to do sort of within the town centre. So everyone needs to sort of forgive the specificness of the question. James, you mentioned about the markets in and around the town and what will be the shed. Will there be any infrastructure for the market traders and the street vendors? So single and 3-phase power running in the floor?
Yes, so there, and yes, they will. So we've I think we've put in the power to 27 stalls, which next to in the area outside the front of the shed where the market stalls, permanent stalls will be. We will allow bigger markets to happen, but those bigger markets won't necessarily, beyond the 27 stalls, they won't necessarily have that facility. But we're also thinking about people who bring their vans in and so on, do trading out of vans and things. But yes, the that is the ducting and the power is all in to enable store holders to have power, and that, yeah, that's already built in.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Do you want to book your space, Dane?
I'm going to go down there and just sort of oh, I want that little spot there, please.
Aggie.
Yeah, so one was just picking up on the trees subject. The trees along the main road coming in from the A3, they have been cut some years ago, and some really oddly higher up, and then new trees planted. I just was wondering what's happening.
I think that land is MOD land, but I'm not sure. There was quite an outcry when those trees came down, and the district council got involved in trying to find out what had happened. And then there was, I think, an agreement reached whereby it would some of the tree loss would be replanted. So presumably the replanting that's going on is in relation to what was agreed to be done.
There's nothing to do with the regeneration of Bordon itself.
No, that's army land effectively. It's I think what may have happened is that the tree belt along there was encroaching onto the highway and causing a problem.
A few came down as well on the road in the storms.
Yeah.
I think that's why it happened. But you know, it was news to us when it happened. So yeah, it is something that's very obvious.
Yeah, the way they were cut, it wasn't consistent. Some of them were cut like higher up, and it was just just a mistake.
Often the army do things in a particular way, and you know, it wouldn't necessarily be the way you plan to do it.
Okay, right. The other question was similarly to the previous, Dane, I think it was. Just thinking of my business and what I can do to help, because I was very briefly involved at the beginning. There was something called the experts panel or something, but I really very quickly quit as well. And just wondering about the procurement process and is it the council's framework? I'm thinking architectural design and delivering the tendering for the projects.
Right. So we run that process ourselves, and we follow the MOD's procurement framework. So and it's a fairly simple process in that if we come up with people that we think are capable of doing the work, and then we send out tenders. and then we have to have at least 3 tenders, and then we have a evaluation criteria for people that are coming forward based on experience, for example, also on cost and design, you know, there are a whole range of things, and then people are selected. So if you are interested in anything, just email me or anyone in the team, you know, and we'll make sure that, you know, we're aware of what you do and what you're interested in.
Yeah,
and
very much so, especially if say little, I'm an architect, and I'm just kind of seeing how the delivery of the Hogmore, I mean, it's great that it's there, and it's in terms of town planning, it works perfectly, but I can see the like a lacking of the how it's like actually different from the visualizations.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too different, but yeah, there was some value engineering of that, as you can
yeah,
see. So.
I can tell.
Yeah,
it's just that in the future, if I could be involved in the architectural design, that would be brilliant, because I live here, and you know, I'm
that's good to know. Thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
To answer your question, Aggie, I know why those trees were cut down. I had a conversation. Yeah, I had a conversation, and I can't remember who it was with, but they were cut down because that area there is a breeding ground for natterjack toads, and they like it boggy. And unfortunately, when you've got a large amount of trees, they drink a lot of water. So they cut down the trees to allow the water to pool and become more, the ground to become more sodden. So it was more of a beneficial breeding ground for the toads.
Mystery solved. Thank you very much.
That was what I was told.
And that's why Border still has all 12 varieties of breeding reptile.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I'm conscious of time, so I'd just like to say a really big thank you to James for coming along today and just, you know, enlighten us. I mean, we often hear the headlines, Whitehill and Borden regeneration, cutting down trees, and that's what we hear. But it's really nice to hear the backstory and what's gone into it and really understand it. So it's really appreciated that we've got that information. And obviously, you know, people in this group talk to other people. So please share what you've learned today about what's happening at Whitehill and Borden regeneration, and you know, share it positively, obviously, because it is positive what we've heard today. So thank you, James, for coming along and being so honest and answering all these questions. Right, we're moving on just to the last finale for today's session, which I'm going to hand over to Stu, and he's just going to share his screen and enlighten you with what we've got to share just for the last, just to recap. Okay, so it's been a great honour and a privilege to work with all of you this year. I can't really top what Emma said. It was so on the money. But what I have done is looked back over the entire year of all of the videos that we have, and I have condensed an entire year of nearly 50 BiZHUBs into 12 minutes. So it's a minute a month. Anything less than that, and it was just literally, here's a screenshot, here's a screenshot, here's a screenshot. So do bear with me. There's been some great guests, and hopefully this is a small reminder of what we've all experienced this last year. I'm going to share my screen. Please turn up your speakers. There is some music, there's some talking, and sit back and relax. Might not go into the local media centre, but I'm quite pleased with it.
Hi, I'm Claire. This is Gary. Hi, I'm Emma, and this is Lou.
I'm Gary. I'm the workshop come maintenance.
Hi, Stuart here at SiGNAL, home of the SiGNAL BiZHUB. Our Jumpstart January event is going to show you the 4 things that you're going to need to get on top of as a business owner in 2020.
So I got 2 instructions. One is to talk to the microphone. The other is to stay on this rug. And I'm a bit of a wanderer, so that's going to be a challenge.
So today's talk is called Stop Selling Yourself Short. And the reason it's called that is because selling yourself short is a really, really common failure in business owners. I can see people nodding everywhere. So it's very, very hard for people to stand up and tell other people what is so good about them. And see. How much is a pair of ladies' pants?
How much do your pants cost?
Can you all see this?
No,
No.
can't see anything.
I'm
No,
screen
just like-
So we're all
We
putting
can
in.
hear it. We can hear it.
Hang on a minute. I'm screen sharing, so I'm not sure why. Technically.
Sounds great. I want to see it.
Was that just a teaser, Stu?
Well,
Yeah.
That making us lean in.
can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Can you see that now?
No.
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 Okay, so it's when I expand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's when I expand it to full screen. So you're going to have to
Watch
see
it like
the
that.
window like that. Is that all right for everybody?
No worries.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
The gremlins are with us. Okay, here we go again.
Hi, I'm Claire. This is Gary. Hi, I'm Emma, and this is Lou.
I'm Gary. I the workshop come maintenance.
Hi, Stuart here at SiGNAL, home of the SiGNAL BiZHUB. Our Jumpstart January event is going to show you the 4 things that you're going to need to get on top of as a business owner in 2020.
So I got 2 instructions. One is to talk to the microphone. The other is to stay on this rug. And I'm a bit of a wanderer, so that's going to be a challenge.
So today's talk is called Stop Selling Yourself Short. And the reason it's called that is because selling yourself short is a really, really common failure in business owners. I can see people nodding everywhere. So it's very, very hard for people to stand up and tell other people what is so good about them and what they do.
How much should a pair of ladies' pants cost? How much do your pants cost? So I don't know what's the right price to look at a lady's pants. I mean, they're all legitimate, aren't they? They all achieve the same goal. Maybe some have additional goals that they achieve, but you know, they all do the same fundamental job.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone.
Something to remember. You know, getting into Zoom, you're in a safe environment, to use it a few times and you're away.
If you're thinking about supporting your near Borden or in the Hampshire area and you want to start working with a great team, great community, I'd also give a thumbs up to Emma Selby, who is part of the management there and also one of the other speakers, and she's fantastic as well. She's really innovative and thought leading in terms of community and bringing people together. So jump on it, inquire, see what the guys are doing. The content's great, the support's amazing, the location's incredible, and I was just privileged to be part of it. An amazing team, and Stuart and Gareth were excellent in terms of the way that they hosted these trainings.
10 minutes where we're going to go through the worksheet and you can really start figuring out what it is that you need to share when you next do a video or go live. And I will leave you all there tantalizing, thinking about your mission. What is your mission for your business?
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go into a presentation now. So I'm going to just share my screen.
Wow, Suzanne, that's really, really good talk. Thank you so much. My hand's sore, actually. I've been making so many notes.
Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to be here, sitting in my isolation and meeting all a nice bunch of people.
Brilliant. Thank you, Peter.
Vanessa, take it away.
Well, I mean, I'd be interested just to hear, you know, some feedback, whether people found that useful or surprising. So
I think this version really instilled a lot more confidence in the words that you've used.
It's been 3 months on Zoom and I still haven't shared a document on Zoom.
Questions that I really want you to collaborate together and talk about what you use, what you found useful. I'll always say SharePoint's better because I passionately believe in SharePoint, and it is very, very simple.
Over to you, sir.
Over to you, Gareth.
Lovely, thank you very much. Today's talk is all about marketing and how you can effectively market yourself and your business on a budget or at zero cost. So the most important place to start when it comes to marketing is knowing your customers. That's why having a buyer persona and understanding your customers is so important. The all-important funnel. I love a funnel. To summarize, understand your customer and your sales funnel. You need to keep creating additional content and to bring your prospects into your funnel. Schedule and automate as much of your process as you can. Make sure you stand out from the crowd. Video content is king. Revisit tried and tested marketing methods. The 4 apps that I've suggested: Buffer, MailChimp, Canva, and Lumen 5. Sign up to those free tools. It can save you a lot of time and effort if you get this right from the get-go.
Today's speaker is someone who I'm sure all of our BiZHub members will be familiar with. But when she's not the amazing BiZHub community manager, you might not know that she spends her time getting people organised.
I've been organising and implementing processes and systems probably for most of my life. Working as the SiGNAL community manager has really enabled me to use all of my experience. It's really important to know what you want from your business. The most important thing that you have to do is have the right process and be organised, and your business will completely thrive. I would say at the start of the year, just put some key dates in your diary and set reminders well in advance. Stop procrastinating. That's what stops productivity. We all have 1,440 minutes in a single day. When it's gone, it's gone. At the end of each day, list out your priorities for the next day. Try and put that in your everyday working life, and you would be amazed how productive you are. Beginning the next day's clear goals will help you power through those priorities. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. Well done, Lou. Thank you. Really good. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Newenham.
Hello.
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 What an intro. Thank you, guys. 40% of people use their computer after 10 o'clock at night. You should, as business owners, really task yourself with operating in those core hours to enable you to be at your best, but also to enable you to have that work-life balance and cut off. My friends and family were my biggest sales force. You know, I told them what I was doing, and actually a really close friend of mine, a mum at school, introduced me to my first 2 clients. The confidence to share what you're doing, but not to bombard people with saying it too much. There's always a balance that's needed. And as a business owner, you are everything. You're juggling, you're keeping your clients happy, you're keeping your team happy. So what's taking up most of your time? Top tips for being productive. Number 1 is the good old to-do list. Exercise has been critical for me in my sort of business journey, my business success. Tackling your worst job first. And I think this is primarily come out of my work with my coach around, you know, what is your focus? Online chat is huge. It can be hugely beneficial. I think there's a real time and a place for chat, for Trello, and all of those things. Now, getting dressed is quite important for me. To be productive, it's been to, you know, do my hair, put some makeup on. We were laughing in lockdown, and the ability just to put some lipstick on made me feel that I was in work. People buy from people, they need to see you. We were offering remote support, but still our clients like that, those touch points. Here I am. And if you'd like to have, you know, one-to-one, if you've got any questions about how you're keen to scale your business, I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you for being here. You should be able to, if you don't know by now, if you wanted to pin me to your screen so that I'm big, go up to the top right-hand corner where there's 3 little dots and click those 3 little dots and say pin video, and I will be the video that is pinned to you. I'm Judith Quinn, Vocal Confidence, and yes, the Quinn has just 1 N. Here we go. What is it that people see you as? How are you perceived, and where can you change and adapt when you need to, so that you can really get rid of beautiful confidence and boost your business. So thank you very much.
Please give a very warm BizHub welcome to Brian Wood, MC.
For those who don't know me, I am a local lad. It's great to come on and share some of my experiences and also what I'm doing at the moment. So I was involved in, like I said, a very famous battle, and it's the Battle of Danny Boy. Looking back, everyone thought it was unachievable, but what we actually achieved. And even when I look back at it, I think how none of us become casualties was beyond me. And what we achieved that day was above and beyond anyone's real expectations. I think I chose to go and serve my country because I love my nation, and I thought I wanted to, keep people safe on my island, and it's the least I can do. 7 months ago, I launched my business called Keep Attacking. I've said it before, the clothing's a byproduct of the message. The message is more important, and never give up, no matter what situation you're in or how dark the situation is, or how your aspirations and how big they are. If you have that Keep Attacking ethos, you will achieve. And it's just exciting times.
Really amazing. It's so inspirational, Brian. I've read your book. I've got it here. Read your book. And just to hear you saying the words, though, it's quite emotional. I feel quite emotional listening to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It was like sitting there, like waiting for "This is your life," the secret to smashing goals. Now, there isn't one secret, and that's it, really. Really odd to be this side of the speaker's chair, as it were.
Lorna has changed her mind and she's now coming to the second session because Stuart's words have made her realise that she needs to spend more time working in her business and not on it.
Please give a warm welcome to BizHub member Andy Tree.
Yay!
There he
Hi.
is.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. I've gone from where I started in 2007 from the spare room to where I am today. And I've grown that since 2012 into a national firm. So I now have staff dotted around the country and clients that are dotted around the country. Different from your average accountant. So I would say the fact that I'm entrepreneur as well as accountancy firm owner gives me a different insight in terms of my business journey. But I think now, I think any accountant, should be saying to their client, hang on a second, I think we should provision now for, and put legitimate things in place to protect you from the future.
Andy, I love your enthusiasm, I have to say. You're so enthusiastic.
Genuinely enjoyed and got a huge buzz out of growing this business.
A warm BizHub welcome to Professor Mark Selby. Hey.
Goodness me! Goodness me, what a build-up!
Lovely to see you, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's lovely to be here with everyone. And I thought that in keeping with the review of what's been happening this year and looking forward to next year, I had to do this talk from the Four Seasons Total Landscaping Courtyard. If it was good enough for the Trump campaign, it's certainly good enough for all of us. It's so lovely to see online many familiar and new faces. Thank you very much for the interactive discussion. I've learned new things on the call as well, which has been great. It really has been a pleasure. If I don't see you, speak to you, or communicate before then, everyone have a great holiday period, and we're going to get through it.
We will make you feel more confident, happier, better connected, and more likely to succeed and become the business person that you always set out to be. See you all again.
There we go.
Wow, well done, Stu. That was so good. Really, it's quite emotional, isn't it? Looking back on the whole year, really is.
Yeah, it was. I had an absolute blast editing it because there were so many bits that almost made it in, but were just little, insights into people and their businesses. It was fantastic, and it's been a real pleasure and an honour to work with so many dynamic, interesting and forward-thinking individuals. So let's, you know, keep that energy up. I know it's been a tough year for a lot of people, and 2021, let's take the energy that we've got stored up and just go for it. Like Brian Wood said, let's just keep attacking.
Yeah, well said. Very good. Right, I think that brings the event to an end, actually. We end on a real high note, everybody thinking about that. Thank you all so much for coming today. Again, thank you to James, thank you to Emma for giving their insights. And we really, really look forward to seeing you all next week for our grand finale, which is the Christmas party. As I said earlier, look out in the post, there will be something arriving this week for all of you. So make sure you have that. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Put on your best Christmas jumper, turn up with maybe a Bucks Fizz, or
it's never too early for a Bucks Fizz, I'd say.
Never too early. Yeah.
Maybe a Bloody Mary if that's
Possibly.
your thing. But do turn up and enjoy the final BizHub of the year. We're going to be having some fun. It's not going to be too serious, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much today, James, for attending, and Emma for your insights, and for all of you for all of your attention and input over the last year. And we're here to make 2021 as good as we possibly can for you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.